In this video, I'm going to show you how to lose money with Facebook ads. So I'm going to break down this entire strategy by 5 simple steps, starting with the first one, which is overcomplicating your ad setup. So the easiest way we can lose money with Facebook is to set up our ads manager in a way where we have all of these different campaigns to test all of the different variables that we need. This way we could give Facebook a much harder time to optimize the best audience who will be interested in our ads and pretty much just overwhelm their algorithm as much as we can. Now, if you want to get good results and get the algorithm on your side instead, here's exactly how you should structure your ads manager. So what you could do is simply have one campaign that you use to test all of your creatives. And then once you figure out which creatives are working well from that testing campaign, you can then graduate them into a scaling campaign, which you can set up at a much higher budget and use this campaign to scale only the best of the best creatives. And anytime you want to test new creatives in the future, you can simply just plug them into this testing campaign and it's pretty much rinse and repeat from there. Now, this consolidated approach is what I implement across all of my stores. And here's an example of the results that I'm getting with my campaign just yesterday, and you can see that I'm getting a profitable return on ad spend, giving me a total net profit of $300. So now let's move on to the second strategy of losing money, which is not cutting your bad campaigns quick enough. So here's an example of a campaign that I launched for a new product that I was testing. I set the campaign at $100 per day, and you can see that I got cost per clicks of almost $5, a CPM of $102 without getting any purchases at all. So rather than letting this campaign spend the full $100, I can already tell by these 2 metrics alone that my ads are terrible, and there's literally no point of me spending an additional $30 just to waste my money on really bad ads. And this is actually a common problem that I see most beginners do when they're just starting out with Facebook, is that they think that they always need to let their campaigns run for at least a minimum of 3 to 5 days, when in reality, you should be cutting your campaigns much quicker than that based on the metrics that you're getting within the very first day. Now, I know a lot of people out there could disagree with me of cutting campaigns within the very first day, but I've been running Facebook ads for multiple years. I've tested hundreds and hundreds of products, and there's always one common trend I always see with every good product that I test with good ads. And that is by seeing really good metrics within the very first day I launched that campaign. So here's an example of a campaign that I launched 2 days ago. I started this campaign at $50 per day, but you can see that my cost per clicks are at $1. My CPM is much lower at $23, and I actually managed to get a purchase on that product within the first day. So this is the clearest indicator for me that there is potential on this product and the ads that I'm running, and I'm definitely going to keep letting this campaign run for the next day. So now you're probably wondering, how do I actually read all of these columns and know what is a good cost per click or what is a good CPM? Well, this leads me to talk about the third step and how most people lose money with Facebook, and that is by not understanding how to read your metrics. And this actually relates back to step number 2, because if you can't read your metrics, then you don't know how to cut your campaigns quick enough. So I'm going to help to break this down for you as simple as possible. If you're getting a high cost per click and a high CPM, this means that you have bad quality creatives. And generally, a good cost per click I like to see is anywhere around $1 or less. And ideally, I like to look for CPMs around $50 or less, because that's going to tell me that my ads actually have a chance. And as I continue to let the campaign run, it's going to get lower and lower. Now, if you're struggling with these 2 metrics here, I'd recommend trying your best to test different hooks within your first 2 to 3 seconds. And I'd also recommend trying to film or create completely fresh visuals and content that you've never used before. Because with Facebook, they're easily able to tell if you're constantly reusing the same old footage over and over again and only making like small minor tweaks to it. And again, if you want better results, you just need to create completely fresh ads that you've never tested before. Now, let's say your ads are solid and you're getting a ton of clicks, but then you're getting no add to carts once the customer lands on your store. Well, this basically means that you either have a bad price or a bad offer. And the only way to fix this is to test different price points and maybe try to test different offers, such as like a buy one, get one 50% off, a buy 3, get 1 free, and also include a bunch of free gifts just to help build more perceived value for your customers. If you want an in-depth guide on how I actually create offers like this, I have a video on my channel where I talk all about it, and you can watch it right here if you want. So now let's say you're getting a ton of clicks and a lot of add to carts, but for some reason people are just not purchasing the product. Well, this basically means that there is a lot of interest in your product, but there's just something in between this part of your funnel that's still making the customer hesitate to pull the trigger and place that order. And once again, this can still be caused by having a bad price or offer. Now, on the other hand, there's still parts of this funnel that can still cause that hesitation, such as when the customer reaches the checkout page and you charge for shipping. If the shipping that you're charging is way too high, that could probably be the reason that people are not purchasing. So you could try to test different price points there, or just try to offer free shipping. And another reason why a customer would add to cart but just not purchase is simply just because they forgot to do so. But the one thing that's going to help us recover all of this lost money from people who don't purchase is by setting up a system that will automatically send emails to all of our customers that add the product to cart, reach checkout, but don't purchase. So I have this app called Omnisend installed on my store, and I have these two flows set up called abandoned checkout and abandoned cart. And you can see that it's already generated me over $4,000 in lost sales that I could then use to reinvest and spend more on ads. And I'll show you exactly how you can do this in like the next 1 to 2 minutes. So from this app, they have this tab called automations. And if you've never set one up before, you're going to see this page that's going to tell you to set up those two flows that I just mentioned. So from here, I can click on preview and start workflows. And then it's going to ask us what's the highest discount we want to offer to our customers to incentivize them to make that purchase if they left our store. And me personally, I always like to go with the highest one at 15%. Then we click on start workflows. And once it's complete, we're going to click this button and we now have both of these flows set up. And what we can do from here is click on one of these flows. And from here, you can get an idea of how the flow works. So when a customer adds an item to cart, they're going to be sent an email that just reminds them to purchase the product. And on the right-hand side, you can edit the subject line and the pre-header to whatever you want. And if you want, you can use their built-in AI to help you generate these super easily. And if we scroll down further, we can get a quick preview of how the email looks like. And then we can go ahead and edit the content if we need. And then from here, you can go ahead and add any type of text block or add any other widgets as you want. And it pretty much works the same way as you would design your Shopify store with all of these customizable blocks, which is super easy to use. And after you finish setting up your flows, there is one more thing that we can optimize in our funnel to help incentivize our purchases even more. And this is by setting up a small pop-up form on our website that offers our customer a discount off of their first order, which we could then later take advantage of if we ever want to upsell our customers later on after they purchase our product. So setting this up is super simple. Inside of Omnisend on the left-hand side, you just click on forms and then just click on preview and launch form. And then from here, you can edit the text to whatever you want. You can also add an extra step to collect their phone numbers after they enter their email. And then this is how it's going to look like once they submit all of the information. Once everything is good to go, we just go up here and then enable the form. And just like that, we now have 3 automated systems that's going to help us recover a lot of lost revenue, but also incentivize people to hopefully make that purchase on our store. If you want to give Omnisend a try, feel free to use my link in the description below. They have a free plan for your first 250 customers, and you can also get 30% off if you use my code. So let's move on to the next step of losing money with Facebook, and this is by testing your creatives completely wrong. So let's say we have one campaign with one ad set that is set up as ABO, and ABO basically just means where the budget is set at the ad set level. And let's say this is getting us pretty good results. And now let's say we launch 2 brand new ad sets that contain completely new variations of ads that we want to test. If we go with the ABO approach, we can spend $50 towards this batch, and we can also set up $50 to spend on this batch. And if these ads are bad, we are essentially giving Facebook $100 to spend for pretty much no reason, and now we're out $100. Now instead, what we could do is set up a CBO campaign, and we could set up that $100 at the CBO level. And then we're gonna let Facebook distribute that $100 towards the ad sets that it feels like is gonna perform well. So let's say it spends like $70 towards this ad set. This one spends $29, and then this one spends $1. Because Facebook decided to spend $1 towards this ad set, this pretty much tells us that all of the ads that we tried to launch in here is just not perceived as high quality to their algorithm. And instead, Facebook is actually saving us money because instead it's focusing more of its money towards all of these different variations of ads that are actually perceived as better quality in comparison to this one right here. And this strategy is so much better because it allows us to test new creatives completely risk-free and only allows Facebook to spend your budget towards the ads that have the highest likelihood of getting you the best results. So let me quickly show you why the CBO approach beats the ABO pretty much every single time. So this is the campaign that I use to test all of my new creatives. And I do this by creating new ad sets inside of the campaign, and inside of those ad sets are going to contain my new variations of ads. Now these 5 ad sets that you're seeing here are brand new ad sets that I included into this campaign about 2 weeks ago. And we can see that after the past 2 weeks, Facebook was not spending the budget towards any of these ads and was still allocating most of the budget towards my best creatives that were already inside of this campaign. So I then created a new campaign. I set it at $100 per day. Inside of the campaign had one single ad set, which contained every single variation of ads that I tried to launch in my CBO, but was not getting any spend at all. So basically, after forcefully spending $100 for 3 full days, I ended up spending $300, getting no purchases at all. And the cost per clicks were around $2.50, which tells me that these creatives weren't really that good. And on top of that, over the span of those 3 days, I actually ended up losing $54. $50 when I could have easily avoided this if I just simply didn't try to force Facebook to spend money on ads that weren't even good. And now the last step of losing money with Facebook ads is ignoring and not actually knowing how profitable you are when you're running your ads. So when you are running a campaign, there's going to be one column that you really want to pay attention to that's going to tell you how profitable you are. And that is going to be your purchase ROAS, which stands for return on ad spend. Now, most people who run ads don't even know what number they need to be looking for that tells them that they're profitable. And I'm going to show you how exactly you can calculate this for yourself. This way you can use this as a guiding point to know if your campaigns are making you money or not. So I set up this ROAS calculator that you could get in my description down below completely for free. And all you need to do is enter in the selling price of your product. So let's say it's like $59.99. And then you put in the amount of how much it actually costs you to fulfill your orders. Once you click calculate, you're going to get your break-even ROAS number. And you can now use this number as a baseline to know if your campaigns are profitable. So with my product specifically, my break-even ROAS is currently at around 1.4. So getting a ROAS of 2.16 is actually really profitable for me. Hence why I was able to make $360 in net profit just from that day alone. And what's also crazy to me is that most people who run Facebook ads don't even track their daily net profit. Because if you don't even know how much profit you're making every day or how much profit you're losing, you're never gonna know how you need to optimize your store, your offer, or your ads so that you could eventually scale and make a lot of money. And I use this app called trueprofit because I'm able to see everything in one clean view. I know exactly how much it costs to pay my suppliers. I know how much I'm spending in ads every single day. And it even tells me how much transaction fees I'm paying to Shopify to process all of my orders. And whether you're running ads on Facebook, Google, or TikTok, you can literally connect almost any ad platform that you want. And then setting up your profits is also super easy. All you need to do is go onto the cost of goods tab, enter in the exact amount it costs for you to fulfill your orders. And then from there, you have a clear view of your net profit every single day without having to do anything. If you want to use trueprofit on your store, feel free to use my link in the description below, which will give you a free trial. And you also get 20% off with my code as well. So I did want to end off this video with one last tip to help you lose more money with Facebook. And this is by scaling your ads way too fast. So let's say you launch a brand new campaign and you actually get pretty good metrics on the first day and you come out with a purchase. What you could then do is immediately bump up that budget to $200 because that one purchase gave you all of the data that you needed to tell you that your products and your ads are winners. Now, obviously that is the complete opposite of what you should do. And instead, when you are launching your campaign, you want to scale your budget slowly and only increase the budget every 2 to 3 days, assuming that you're consistently getting purchases. So with this campaign, this was the first day that I launched it, and I actually set it at $50 per day, but sometimes Facebook may spend a little bit more than that, but that's totally fine because I still came out with the purchase. So without touching the budget, I still let this same campaign run the very next day after, and we can see that it spent close to $50, but it still got me another purchase. So because both day 1 and 2 got me purchases, what I then decided to do was bump up my budget from $50 to $60. And right now, at the time of recording this video, these are real live results of day 3 so far, and we can see that it spent $10 and I already got another purchase. So this is telling me that this is a potential winning product that I have on my hands, and as long as I can get another purchase tomorrow, then I'm gonna go ahead and raise the budget by 20% and continue scaling from there. If you want a more in-depth video on how I test and scale all of my ads with Facebook going into 2026, then make sure to watch my video that I recently uploaded here. And that's pretty much gonna wrap up the end of this video. I hope you did find it valuable. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to this channel, as I'm gonna continue to make videos about Facebook ads and other strategies that I'm using today. And also follow me on Twitter as I share some tips from time to time on everything that I'm doing across all of my stores. And with all that being said, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.